everything changed in seconds. What was supposed to be one of Washington's most controlled, high-security events suddenly turned into chaos, confusion, and gunfire. The White House Correspondents Dinner, an event attended by top political leaders, media figures, and members of both parties, was interrupted by a man who somehow made it inside with a weapon. And now, the biggest question isn't just how it happened, but why. Today, we're breaking down everything we know so far about the suspect, the motive, and the rapidly unfolding investigation, because the details coming out right now are raising serious questions about security, politics, and intent. Let's start with the moment that shocked everyone in the room. According to reports, the suspect, identified as 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen, managed to get past security at the Washington Hilton and into the lobby where the event was taking place. Video footage shows him moving quickly before Secret Service agents responded within seconds. Shots were fired. One agent was hit in the chest, but thanks to a bulletproof vest, survived. Allen was taken into custody alive, in a situation that could have turned catastrophic. Authorities say the response was immediate, but the fact that he got that far at all is what has people deeply unsettled. Now here's where things get more serious. According to multiple federal sources, Allen told investigators after his arrest that his intent was to target members of the Trump administration. Not necessarily Donald Trump himself, but officials connected to the administration. That distinction matters. It suggests this wasn't random. It points toward a level of planning, or at the very least a specific objective. But at the same time, it raises a deeper question. What drove him to that point? Because while intent gives us direction, it doesn't yet give us motive. And that's where the investigation becomes far more complicated. As authorities dig deeper, more details are starting to emerge about Allen's background. He traveled from California to Washington, D.C., reportedly by train, which introduces a key legal element, interstate movement. That alone opens the door to federal charges, and prosecutors are already moving quickly. He's expected to face multiple counts, including using a firearm during a crime of violence and assault on a federal officer. Officials have also made it clear more charges are likely as the investigation continues. This is being treated as a high-profile federal case from the very beginning, and it's moving fast. But here's where things get even more complex and more controversial. People immediately began asking, was this politically motivated? And if so, what side? Early speculation online tried to link Allen to political affiliations, but the actual data tells a more nuanced story. He is not a registered Democrat or Republican. In fact, voter records show he was registered with no party preference at all. The only political activity tied to him is a single $25 donation made in 2024 to Act Blue, a platform that supports Democratic campaigns. That's it. No pattern, no history of major involvement, just one small contribution. And that's important because in moments like this, narratives can form quickly, sometimes faster than the facts. Some groups have already attempted to frame this as politically driven in a broader sense, using limited information to support bigger claims. But right now, investigators themselves are being cautious. They are examining his electronics, his writings, and speaking with people who knew him personally, because until they establish a clear motive, any assumption, left, right, or otherwise, is just that, an assumption. And in a case like this, assumptions can be misleading. What makes this even more surprising is how those who knew Allen are describing him. According to reports, he was highly educated, with a background in science and computer studies. He worked as a tutor, helped students prepare for college exams, and was even described as intelligent, quiet, and kind. Some of the students he worked with were reportedly shocked to hear his name connected to this incident. It's the kind of contrast we've seen before, where someone's outward life doesn't seem to match the actions they eventually take. And that disconnect is often where investigators focus most. There are also details about his personal projects that add another layer. He reportedly developed an independent video game and described himself as an indie developer. Nothing outwardly alarming. No clear signals that would point directly to violence, which again brings us back to the same central question. What changed? What led from a seemingly normal life into a moment like this? Because incidents like these rarely come from nowhere. They build, often quietly, until something triggers action. As of now, the investigation is still unfolding. Allen is in custody, being held near the scene and expected to appear in federal court. Authorities are continuing to gather evidence, and they've made it clear that this is just the beginning of what could be a much larger case. We know the charges, we know the basic timeline, we know what he said after his arrest, but the motive, the true reason behind this is still unknown. And until that piece is fully understood, this story remains incomplete. So here's where things stand right now. A high-security political event was breached. Shots were fired. A suspect is in custody. He admitted intent to target government officials, but his deeper motive remains unclear. Investigators are working to connect the dots, and more information is expected in the coming days. As always, we'll continue to follow this closely and bring you updates as they come. But I want to hear from you. Based on what we know so far, what do you think is still missing from this story? Let me know in the comments, and if you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next update.